several times, forming the north end of Mull, the Tresnish Islands out to the west, and of course here's...
Hi everyone, my name's Scott. Welcome to Planes, Trains, Everything, and welcome to Oban, the gateway to the Western Isles. Tomorrow I'm going to be joining the Three Isles tour run by West Coast Tours. The Three Isles tour includes Mull, Iona and Staffa, and Staffa is the cherry on the cake. How exciting will that be? Well, not as exciting as I had hoped, because a month ago I got an email saying, "We're looking forward to seeing you. Unfortunately, we're not going to Staffa." Apparently, the island is owned by the National Trust of Scotland, and they're doing some work on the landing stage, making it larger, I think, and as a result they've told us, no, we can't land. Why it was being sold and then to be told we can't land, I'm not quite sure. They did in fact give us the option of getting a full refund, but having bought my accommodation for tonight, keeping in mind it's a 9:30 AM departure tomorrow, there's no way I could get here from Glasgow for 9:30, so I'm overnighting here in Oban, non-changeable, non-refundable hotel. Also the train home tomorrow night after the tour, back to Glasgow, non-refundable, non-changeable. So I'm doing it whether I like it or not. As we are sailing around the island but not landing on it, I'm going to try and speak to one of the staff to see if they know what went wrong, because on the National Trust website they have a page dedicated to Staffa, and it does say quite clearly no landings between, I think it's the 23rd of September 2024 and mid-June 2025. And being a company, they need to get approval from National Trust to land on the island. So what has gone wrong? I guess hopefully we'll find out tomorrow. In the meantime, I'm going to head to my hotel and check in. That's my non-refundable, non-changeable hotel. Cue the montage, and I'll see you in the morning. Well, that hotel was an interesting experience. It was actually all right. It was a very old hotel. I think it was about £56 a night, and it was just a single room. Before I had a chance to unpack my bag, there was a knock on the door. "Oh, sorry, we shouldn't have given you this room. The TV doesn't work." And I thought, I'm not even going to be watching the TV because I brought a laptop. I've got some work to do. But before I had a chance to say anything, "No, we want to move you to another room. It's a double." Okay, so double room, a lot more space, huge bed, lovely bed by the way. But what an interesting room. It was like a mishmash of different decades. A couple of modern things, and there's some very old stuff. For example, when was the last time you stayed in a hotel room that had Formica? I don't even know if they still make Formica. I remember my parents used to have some tables with a Formica top on it. Yeah, Formica around the room. But it did the job. Anyway, I'm heading now into Oban. I'm going to have some breakfast, then we'll get to the ferry terminal for our Three Isles tour, which is actually just the Two Isles. That was eggs Balmoral, and that was breakfast, and it was delicious. Right, let's find our ferry. Plan of action is that when we get to Craigmuir there should be a bus waiting for us. If there's no bus waiting for us, this could be a very short video. We remind you that smoking is prohibited on the vessel, with the e-cigarettes is also prohibited unless it's dedicated smoking. It is a requirement of international...
meters other than allowed.
As we leave Craignure from the Gaelic meaning Rock of the Yew Tree, look out directly to your left, straight up Loch Linney, and on a clear day you will see, in the far distance, Ben Nevis, the highest mountain in the United Kingdom.
And here we are at Fionnphort. Unfortunately, I couldn't understand a word the driver was saying. Something about on the right hand side, that's where our ferry leaves, and we have to be back by 6:15, something like that. But we'll make it up as we go along. Information was a little bit hit and miss over at Fionnphort. Over there we've got Iona, and we're not heading in that direction, so we must be doing the circuit around Staffa first.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome on board for our sail across to Staffa. As we can today with the boat, with the Atlantic swell, it makes it a little tricky to keep our holding there as close as we can. And of course, here's Staffa. Good battles. Some of the stones that Fingal threw at Fionnphort, well, they became the giant causeway where he goes. Now, the island is... Today we do have quite a good... That's what's a bit there off Now we're just going to continue round the west side, right round the west side here of Staffa. That's what's happening. Here we are now back up in the Great Face, Nicholas Cave. We've got another wee look at this.
That's the ruin of the nunnery, but there's something I want to see firstly, and it's about a mile along the island. A quick look, and then we'll be back to look at some of the sights here. I'll tell you something, that cruise was cold, really cold, especially heading out to Staffa, because we're heading into a brisk northerly wind. Boy, it was cold, but it's almost tropical in comparison here in Iona now. Yeah, so I want to go up there and I want to check out a beach, which we saw from the boat. Then I'll come back, maybe get something to warm me up. We'll also look at some of the sights around here. Yeah, it is still a bit blowy on Iona, but then again we are kind of on the North Atlantic, aren't we? How cool is that? Yeah, there's this white strip of sand just over there, and I just wanted to check that out. I've got 3 hours here before I have to catch the Calmac ferry back to Fionnphort, which is not actually how it's pronounced, but you know where I mean. Nah, they don't want to talk to me. This way to climb the hill. No, I'm not climbing any hills, I'm going down to the beach. Isn't this beautiful? The beach must be down here somewhere. This track seems to be going on forever. I hope I'm not going to the very northern tip of the island. I didn't want to go there. I want to go to the beach. It's down here somewhere. In fact, there's no one else around here. I do hope I'm on the right track. Aha! Success at last. Bizarre as it may seem, no one's actually swimming here. Can you believe it? Yeah, I can believe it. It's mid-April. Hey, this is beautiful. This is stunning. Well, I take that back. Just down the beach there's a lad that went in for a swim. Must be off his head. He went in there, splashed about, and came out within about 20 seconds looking quite unhappy. I wonder why. It is mid-April. It is mid-April. I was watching some sheep back there, as you do, and I was thinking, the lambs really aren't scared of us humans, but the adults just do not trust us. They'll stand away from the fence and go bah, and I don't know why they don't trust us, because it's not as if we climb over the fence and annoy them. So I'm just wondering whether at some point someone's going up to one of these sheep and going, Sean, guess what happened in 2.5 years? That's why they don't like us. Here's another thing, an interesting factoid. Did you know that sheep snore? I once went for a midnight walk from Greenock to Largs along the old Largs road. It was from about 11 o'clock at night through to about 7 AM. And it was a full moon, and you can see the white blobs in the field. And they snore. And the reason for that is because they sleep on their chests like the Sphinx. There you go, useless factoid for you. Iona is considered to be the birthplace of Celtic Christianity in Scotland, and it says that St Columba arrived here in 563 AD and established an abbey right there. Of course, the big attraction on the island is the abbey. I've got a more pressing engagement. It's to do with food and having to go somewhere, you know. But I will tell you though, in 1549 there was an inventory done of 48 Scottish, 8 Norwegian and 4 Irish kings, and they're all buried in there. Right, let's get some food. As we have to walk past the old nunnery, why don't we just walk through the old nunnery, and that saves us having to come back later. This is actually a little more interesting than I thought it would be. Okay, that was a quick look at the nunnery. I am focused on food now, I really am. Well, that's better, much, much better. The tour guide told us that we have to be on the ferry back to Fionnphort. The very last one is at 17:15. It has currently just gone 16:15, and they run every 30 minutes. So as soon as that ferry over there comes back, I might catch that. That's the second last one I can catch. It gives me 30 minutes over there, just to be on the safe side, because I hate catching the last possible ferry, bus or train. I'm just paranoid that way. Here's another lovely little beach. If I'd known this one was here, I could have saved myself an hour's worth of walking. So what did I learn about our inability to set foot on Staffa? Not a great deal really, although I have learned that West Coast Tours act as a kind of a third party. They put together 3 different operators. There's Calmac, there's their own bus service across the island of Mull, and there's Staffa Tours who do the cruise around Staffa itself. I'm pretty sure Staffa knew what they were doing. Staffa Tours, that's their job, to go to the island, so they would know if it's closed or not. It just seems strange that when you book this through West Coast Tours in February, 4 weeks later you get an email saying, oh, you're not allowed to set foot on the island and you can cancel if you wish. It's almost as if that had kind of slipped through and they'd forgotten to tell anyone, and they were just covering their backs there. I don't know, I honestly don't know, but it was actually a great tour though. It was still great. It would have been great to have stood on the actual island itself, but under the circumstances, not possible. Right, there's my ferry coming. I plan to be on that. Let's go.
Your safety is our highest priority, and therefore we ask you to please listen carefully to the following safety information.
Yeah, I've got about 30 minutes at Fionnphort before I have to catch the coach, so I might go for a little explore on arrival. This old slip has seen better days, hasn't it? Wow. Righty-ho, it's definitely not getting any warmer. I'm actually freezing again. It's so windy here and it's so cold because the wind's coming straight from the north. Wow, it's a cold one. Right, bus is up there. I think we should get on board. Sadly, that didn't happen today. Although we did see some from about 150, 200 meters away. We saw a few puffins, but we didn't get up close and personal with them, I'm afraid. And here we are back in Oban. I've got 1 hour and 15 minutes to kill before my train to Glasgow Queen Street leaves. 1 hour and 15 minutes. What can I do for 1 hour and 15 minutes? So thanks for coming along on this 3-aisle tour, which was only a 2-aisle tour. I'll see you next time.